Hey guys, we're back again taking a look at the markets. Before we jump into it, let's actually have a look at the eToro stats, how we're going. So this year we were up 17%. This month, quite a lot of volatility. We're down 6% at the moment. I think just a few days ago we were down even more than that. Yeah, like at the start of the month we were actually up 3%. So at one stage we were up 26%. So overall, I think, my base case is we're going to recover into the end of the year, and I think the end number will be something like that, 26%. So I think the money's coming back. But yeah, that's an update of where we're at right now. And then in terms of the assets under the copy, so it's 1.36 million USD. It's down $265,000 minus 16%. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. All right. So I think the main thing is my message has been this is normal. It's so far there are no signs that it's not normal. If something were to change, I would be there to let you know. So yeah, let's take a look. So we're getting a big recovery at the moment. Big green candle here. So it actually did, like I made that YouTube video 3 days ago. It was on this weekly candle with the red. And again, it went straight through my alarm. So the alarm actually did go off. But yeah, like, I think the interesting thing is, even though that video is 3 days old, and the market has moved quite a lot in those last 3 days, if we're looking at percentage gains on the daily, it's a lot on a daily. But again, when we zoom out, everything still stands. Like, everything is still exactly the same. Nothing has changed. We came down to the white dotted line, and that's where we say it's fair value. Right, that dip, it's at fair value, and it just went a little bit higher and it recovered. What I also want to talk about is there's this thing just called highs and lows. So the market likes to move in a zigzag like this, zigzag. So you'd call this a high, you'd call this a low. People often call them like the peak and the valley. So talking about like a mountain as well. So there's a type of analysis which looks at the highs and lows, and it's very, very, very simple. So as long as you're going up, right, there's a high, then there's a low, then there's a higher high, so it's higher than the previous high, and then there's a higher low than the previous one, and as long as that keeps on continuing, that is actually a sign that it's still in an uptrend, right? It's still in a medium-term uptrend. So if we look at the market right now, let's start at the bottom. There was a low, it went into a high, then it went to a higher low, a higher high, 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 and then we got that big pullback then. And even though it's like, it looks to me smaller, just eyeball it looks smaller than this one. It looks similar size to all of these. So far it's just higher highs, higher lows. So there's actually no sign of a trend change just yet. According to my system, nothing is telling me that there is a trend change. So yeah, let's try and decipher, is the market still there? Like, based on the chart of financial freedom, this big boy, if we're zooming out here, so the S&P 500 road to financial freedom, this is holding. So the long term's holding. Based on the medium term, we did a little bit of analysis just then. Looks pretty good. So overall, based on the actual candlesticks and the chart, I don't see anything changing. NASDAQ, it's still a higher low as well. And now let's just check out some individual names real quick. What should we do? Let's go to... I want to see like the big tech, because everybody's talking about how bad the big tech is. So Amazon, it's a big green here. I do want to see, like, what's the correction on all of these individual names. So like Amazon, the individual correction down to the low was 25%. Right, 25%, and right now we're down 17% since the high with Amazon. Honestly, like, does this look like a monstrous crash, or does this look like somewhat normal? I would say it's somewhat normal. Look, we draw that, and then look, we draw it back and just try and match it. Look, yeah, see the point? Like, some of these ones are smaller, right? Smaller. This one, bigger. So it's like Amazon, and this is back in 2016, Amazon has been a great stock. This is what the market does. The market moves up and down. And overall, this is normal, right? This is normal so far. Let's have a look at Alibaba. So I think Alibaba is interesting. It does look like it's consolidating near the lows. It's actually all the way to like the cheapest price since the IPO. So for me, I feel like Alibaba's really, really cheap. I think this is a good sign. It's actually a quite a big green candle, and the market didn't puke and it didn't fall off to new lows. So you still got that swing low over here on this left side. So if it was that bad, you would have probably taken it out and reached brand new lows. So I think with Alibaba, for me, it's more of like a sentiment thing. Everyone is now against China. A few years ago, like China was the next big thing. Now everybody's against China. And I think, yeah, once the narrative changes, eventually China will come back, and all of these, like right now, these stocks are so depressed. I believe in the future the premium will come back. Let's check out Uber. So this is what we kind of want to be seeing, right? Big, huge green candle. We like to call it the Hulk, right? When the Hulk shows up, and it kind of pretty much just absorbs. We had those 3 bad weeks. It's pretty much absorbed that whole thing, and you're kind of back again at that all-time high. And a thing is, like, the newer stocks, they don't respect. Like, this is actually, it's a big company, but it is a newer stock. It's, IPO'd in 2019. They don't respect the supports as well, so you kind of have to draw the supports in big boxes. And, it went under, but it reclaimed the support. At the end of the day, it's still at all-time high. Like, when did we break out to this price? So it's August right now. We broke out to this price, roughly, at the start of the year. So it's like, what? We're just back to where we were at the start of the year, even February, right? So it's like, not much has changed. Like, how fast do you really want to make money, Next up, Microsoft. So not the biggest bounce in the world, but still, I think the key level for all of these big tech companies was when they broke out to that new all-time high. As long as we haven't gone to that key level, I think we're fine. Let's check out Google. So Google, this one is textbook. I was saying, like, when we break out of those key levels, you break out to all-time high. Usually that's an extremely good time to buy. And then sometimes, if you're fortunate enough, the market gives you a second opportunity to buy. Like, let's see what happens. Like, so far, based on what I'm seeing, it seems like the bottom's in. Like, I got no idea. I got no crystal ball. But, like, based on the evidence that we're seeing right now, it seems like the bottom's in. Like, this is very, very, very strong support for Google. It's already pulled back quite heavily. So it's like, how much did it pull back? It pulled back by 19%. Right? 19%. How much more of a discount do you want to get? And if we line this up as well perfectly, let's see if we can... So if we line it up perfectly to the left, what's that? 151. All right. And then, yeah, I wonder, do we come down to 151, 150? I'm not sure. Like, often what I find is, like, it doesn't always give you, like, it's not always so nice that it comes right at that whole number of 150. Usually, people got buyers in front running that number. But, yeah, overall, I think Google down 20%. It looks like it should start moving higher from here. Let's see. Was this big shakeout recently over the last 3 weeks? Was that the start of something new? If we're looking at the S&P 500, does it mean that, this is the start of something new and we actually go back up and we can't make a higher high? We actually make the first lower high like this, and then we break down and become extremely cheap again? I don't know, but I just don't see it coming, especially with interest rates where they are in the US. It's kind of like a lifeline. When the interest rates are quite high, the Federal Reserve can always just drop them and boost and stimulate the economy again. And, I think it translates well to the stock market, but who knows? We'll wait and see. Let's go back to Google. So I think, overall Google, to me, it feels cheap. To me, that feels like we're closer to the bottom than we are to the top. That's my guess. Could be wrong. Not financial advice as usual, but that's how it feels to me. Another stock, 10 cents. Again, it's consolidating near these highs, not the all-time high, but it's like Alibaba. They're near like their lows, but the highest place near the low. So yeah, it looks like the number is 420. It feels like if you break out above 420, it's probably going to get you back to the all-time high pretty damn quick and take everybody by surprise. And then you're going to start seeing it like, everyone is going to be pro-China again. Like, mark my words, as soon as we get around 720 and start breaking out to new highs, everybody's going to be pro-China again. And and that's when you start, potentially getting short-term bubbles, when you start breaking out of those new all-time highs, and everybody's really, really happy because anyone who's bought in here, they've made a decent amount of money. Nvidia, big one that everyone likes to talk about. How much is this correction? So this correction has been 36%, 35%. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Like being on the log chart, the logarithmic chart, where it condenses all of the numbers up here on the top. So it kind of goes exponential the higher and higher the price goes. So yeah, like it based on the chart, it looks small, but in terms of actual percentage, it's decent. But like we were saying in the last video, how far can it correct? It can correct all the way down to the green, and that's actually perfectly fine. Like, stocks do that all the time. You need to be prepared for 50 to 60 to 70% swings in individual names, 100%. Even like 100% of it, it's going to happen. It's practically guaranteed that that's going to happen to your individual names. Even with the index, S&P 500, 50% swings, 60% swings. Like, I'm kind of putting odds at there's a 90% chance every 10 years that happens. Even our eToro portfolio, I believe there's 90% chance that the market, like our portfolio, at some stage will be down 60%. And we just got to stomach it. We got to stomach it and just keep on holding. It's not going to be easy, but that's the world of the stock market. It's the world of the stock market. That's how it moves. S&P 500, the gold standard, it moves just the same. Waste management, not that interesting. It's just chilling. Costco, chilling as well. Palantir, boom. This is what we're looking for. The big Hulk. This is what we're looking for. So like right now, I would say this is textbook for what you want to see in the market. Everyone shit scared last 3 weeks, and then massive recovery back to the all-time highs. Remember, we're going to ignore this because that's a little bit of the IPO fluff. That doesn't really matter, right? The market wasn't that liquid then. So it's mainly this, right? It's mainly the $30 mark. So imagine, the headlines were crazy. The media was going crazy with all this stuff. A few days, literally, I think that's 1 day, isn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's like 3 days. 3 days, we're back at the highs. Come on. Within 3 days, we're back in the highs. Like, I feel like every person that's, released all these negative, I bet you if you type in Palantir, a lot would come up. Negative news about it. There's negative news about everything. But, hey, whoever those authors were, take back your word, mate. Look at this. We're already back with the all-time highs. So it's pretty much saying that the market, whatever happened, the market doesn't care. It's already back. So it's like the market is volatile, but it's super resilient. It always finds a way back, right? And why? Because the smartest people in the world are running these companies, The smartest people in the world are running these companies, and they hold shares in these companies. That's their net worth. That's their money. It's capitalism. They're going to defend their assets, right? And they're going to try and make as much money as possible. All right, AVGO, similar stock to Nvidia. Semiconductor, down 31%, but a decent bounce in here. Decent bounce. Again, if we look out, does it look extremely crazy? Come on. Like, when we look at it like this, when we're zooming out, it's the same thing, man. It's the same thing. So nothing to be scared of. MMC is boring because all it does is go up. Let's have a look at Tesla again. So Tesla, the bounce isn't as big. I think we were saying last time, like this thing, it can consolidate for a very long time. But it's just my thing. I just never go all in like any of these individual names. None of these names will make me rich. None of these names will make me poor, right? Like, go rich quick or poor quick. It's the goal is to become rich guaranteed in the long term eventually. Right? That's the game. In the somewhat fastest way possible without, risking everything. What's happening to BYD? All right, so it doesn't look as good as Tencent and Alibaba. Let's go to Apple. Boom. Boom. This is, again, textbook, like what you want to see with Palantir. We had that support level at the top here, where the market was consolidating. $200 down, $200 down, breakout. Great time to buy. Went a little bit fast, a little bit too quickly. This is probably Warren Buffett selling, maybe. He offloaded quite a little bit. Comes back down with all of the fear, right at support, and again, bang, up again. So, how much was it? Around, like 17, 18%. Again, standard stuff. REA, boom, come on. All-time highs coming around the corner. Like, whenever you get these big, fat, green hulks, it's a good sign. It's generally a good sign. All right. What else we got to look at? Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Where is it? BTC. So I think as well, Bitcoin is like it came down to a key level. I think we probably need to line this up a little bit better, actually. Like, if we're looking at this little high here, connecting it all through there, and what is that? That's like 50, yeah, right at 50K ish. So it's a whole psychological number, 50K, 100K, 150, and so on. It came down quite hard. I wonder, is that the low now? Is this the low? It seems like if we break out to a high, because there was a lot of panic in here, if we break out to a high, if I was in the game of swing trading still, I wouldn't mind putting a stop loss all the way under here, around 48, 49, under that whole number of 50,000, use it as protection. What else we got? We were checking out Louis Vuitton last time. Anything happening with it? See, it's like, with Louis, it's just not as strong, the green. It's not as textbook as like Palantir was. Like, look at the difference. Palantir is just raging up against this ceiling here. It's just smashing against the roof. It just wants to break out. So you can kind of feel like each stock, it has a personality. It has an energy. It feels like the pressure is building with Palantir, and it wants to break out. Coinbase, not bad. Still overall looks like an uptrend with his uptrending line. What else we got? So I think, like, overall, I just want to take note, like, if this does become the bottom in the market and the market starts heading higher from here, that's an interesting data point. That's an interesting, experience that we had in the market. And now we just got to remember that for the future. So the reason why I'm not scared, and the reason why I'm leaning towards this is more normal than like against the media, is because it literally feels normal. Like, I've seen this a million times. There is no sign yet that this is not normal. And then especially today, it feels like, it's confirming that. So let's check out Japan a little bit. So Sony's still looking all right. Not bad. Doesn't look insane yet. And yeah, I think that's all the main ones, isn't it? What else? These other ones, yeah, they don't really interest me that much. Yeah, Netflix. Let's have a look at Netflix. Again, Netflix. Let's see. Like, does it get to the highs? Does it start consolidating? Like, if you want to see a big crash, this is a big one. Right, that's a big fella. Right now, a little blip on the chart. Right. Obviously, we don't know if it's going to turn into a big one. No one knows if it's happening. So far, I'm leaning towards it's not coming. It's not coming. I'm leaning towards the market's actually in quite a safe place. And for me, it does come down to um, those interest rates. That's a lifeline for all of this. And overall, like, does this feel scarier than COVID? To me, no. Like, who would have known that the market was so resilient during COVID? That was a scary time. So the market is volatile and has tantrums every now and then. But at the end of the day, it gets shit together and then just keeps on moving forward. That's kind of like how I see the market. Yeah, I think that's enough for today. Looks like, yeah, let's touch base again in the next week or so, hopefully, and let's see what happens. Like, does the market start trending higher? Was that just a thing where it's all done and dusted now, and we start moving to all-time highs towards the end of the year? Who knows? We'll wait and see.